Here's from Vivek's book, which he wrote after January 6th. This is what he really believes. He just can't tell you. He has to act like Kerry Lake, or he knows he'll be cut off from the Republican Party. So I'm going to read it. It says, this is from Vivek's book, when my candidate lost the election, I was dissatisfied, but I also felt a sense of peace. The election was done, and it was time to move on. No one likes a sore loser. That's one of the worst victimhood complexes of all. Accepting the outcomes of elections and having a peaceful transition of power is part of what it means to be in a constitutional republic. Sometimes your team loses, but if you accept the result and prepare for the next election, eventually the scales will tip your way again. We fought, we lost, and I accepted the result. So I was especially disappointed when I saw President Trump take a page from Stacey Abrams' playbook. His claims were just as weak as Abrams. She claimed voter suppression. He claimed voter fraud. He filed scores of lawsuits over various claims of fraud and as on the right, but they came nowhere close to changing the outcome in a single state, let alone the swing states who he needed to overturn, or whose results he needed to overturn. In many cases, judges, the president himself had nominated rules against him, a sign of health in our nation's institutions. All right, I'm going to read one more real quick. Another excerpt from Vivek's book. He said, Mike Pence, a man I have great respect for, decided it was his constitutional duty to resist the president's attempt to get him to unilaterally overturn the results of the election, even in the face of the January 6th Capitol riot. Our institutions did hold in the end, but they should have never been tested. So this is what I'm trying to explain to people about ChatGPT, conservative Vivek Rama Obama Swami. He's saying exactly what you want to hear, which is a very, like, he's like a Cutco, pyramid scheme, like a salesman, Jehovah's Witness, knocking on the door. He'll tell you everything you want to hear so you like him. And I think it's smart in politics, but the thing is, he doesn't even believe a lot of this stuff. So it's like, if you believe that Mike Pence shouldn't have overturned the election, I can respect that. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. If you believe that Trump is a bad leader and he's kind of misleading his people and going too far, I can respect that. And if you think the other way and you can make sense of it, I can respect that too. What I don't respect and what I don't trust is a man who will sit up there acting like Mike Lindell and Kerry Lake because he knows that's what you want to hear, but he really feels like I feel, and he even feels more strongly than I feel about it, and says that Trump is wrong about that topic. Why won't he stand on stage at Turning Point or somewhere else and say, I think Trump is wrong about January 6th. I think Mike Pence was right to do it. I'm glad it happened. I think Donald Trump's a sore loser, and I think he's taking a page from Stacey Abrams' playbook. How come he didn't read that? How come he doesn't say that? That's what he thinks. He wrote it in a book after January 6th. Do people understand what I'm talking about now? Let me know what you say. Sorry, I was in the zone there.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, it's because people will like dismiss these things and be like, that's politics. Well, what politics is, and what he's making very clear, is that he is smart. These people are very smart, and they're anticipating you being stupid. And they're playing that role where it's like, it's written in the book. It's like the only other thing that it could be would be a video of him saying it. But people are so brainwashed now by whatever they want to think that it could be written in plain English and they won't hold him to account on it. And it's like, these are the types of things that your modern politician, Trump included, knows that you're not going to do anything about it. There could be a video of me saying, I'm 100% sure that this is going to happen, and then it not happening. And then when it comes to you getting on a stage, people are like, yeah, get him this time. They could say a lie straight to your face and never hold them account and never be held account to it. And it's like, it's not even their fault at this point. It's like, if I lie to you 100 times and you keep coming back for more, it's your fault now. Right. It's not my fault for lying. It's your fault for permitting it, which is why it's so insane and sad that people that the Republican base or whatever, we're like, hey, you're morbidly obese, you need to stop eating McDonald's. And they're like, shut up. What are you, a rhino now? You're going to say that? It's like, I'm trying to tell you the truth because I care about you. But if you guys are just going to keep going and like throating Big Macs, double Big Macs, then it's like, there's nothing, I can't help you. And here it is, all these people that we agree with, love, and care for that have been right and right about so many things, but they don't want to accept the truth. And it's like, they'll even read that thing about Vivek and they'll do gymnastics. They'll do Twister to try to find a justification for it, to the point where they'll even answer on Vivek's behalf to cover for him. Oh, that was 6 months ago. Yeah. Just like they do with Trump. They're like, he made a mistake. Bill Barr like tricked him. It's like,
No, and
Did he? Did he
I'm sure
think that?
Vivek still believes that, but I think you nailed it. Where I think it's very smart people who thinks that the base is stupid, and
Yes.
they've understand like you said in the consumer era of what do you want. We run a website now together called streamrare.com. Sometimes our biggest articles are the cheapest things we do, and I'm not saying
Yep.
cheap, but quick, not that important. And then the really important stuff that we're like very passionate about takes us hours to do doesn't get that many clicks. We'll still do what we believe, but from a business perspective, it actually doesn't make sense. It makes sense to feed people like cattle feed. And I'm not saying that's what it is, but like, lower tier stuff that's just click worthy, which it's part of the game. I understand. But with this sort of stuff, like if you want lies or you want someone to lie to your face and that's what you want, and when someone tells you the truth, it bothers you, then people are inspired to lie. Like Vivek is probably a very high IQ person. He's a very good businessman. He worked with Big Pharma. He did that thing. He tweeted Soros op-eds. Like he's a professional chameleon. He's a smart guy. And now that he's in conservative politics, he's smarter than all these other idiots. Like Vivek, his IQ is probably like 2 times like Ted Cruz's. So it's 100%. One of these things where it's like he can study. It's not like I could study what the left wants and pretend to be a leftist. Very good. I'm a smart guy, but I just don't feel like doing that. I'm not a fake. But he that's the point that bothers me with him is like I would vote for Vivek over Trump at this point if I had to choose between the two in like an election. They're both not my top candidates, but I'm just saying, even though he's saying the right things and I don't believe he means them, at least he's saying them, and that is a step in the right direction. But when he writes a book and he says Vivek respects Mike Pence more than I do, yet he's up here acting like he's Trump's biggest bootlicker. And it's like, bro, read your book. I dare you to go to the Capitol and read your book that you wrote within the last 2 years. Read your book, bro. You don't know. You just want to give one. He's a politician. He doesn't believe it, but he's saying what he knows he needs to say, and he won't say the full truth because he knows the full truth will bother MAGA.